But today we're going to talk about just building up your brand and then how to efficiently use the time that you have to market yourself in the best ways. You don't always have to throw money at it, because half the time if you blow your budget and you don't get the outcome you want, it can be really defeating. So I'm just going to go over that a few things today. So I like to throw in this quote because chaos kind of ran my life until I started making lists. And again, with my ADHD, I was like, why do I need to make a list? I'm just going to lose it. And then cell phones became a thing, and they're like, well, you can't lose, your cell phone. It's on your cell phone. And now you can set reminders and pop-ups and that stuff. So the three things that I make sure of when I make a list is if I can keep it consistent, if it's actually attainable for me to do, and be positive, not negative, like, oh man, I failed that deadline again. Okay, great. But I want to kind of start off about how Cash Cow Co-op came to be. This is my fiance Damon, and we started Cash Cow Co-op at the beginning of COVID. Damon's family owns a farm in Minnesota, and when we were on a trip to visit Grandma, we passed semi-loads of dead livestock, and they were actually being buried on farmers' land with subsidies and leasing that way, and it was really heartbreaking. I lived in South Dakota my whole entire life, but I've never really been a part of the farm scene. So I took my marketing brain and I took Damon's farming knowledge, and I was like, what if we created something online that helped people see where these resources were? And of course, there's, as Laura's going to talk about later, there's so many different things that we didn't even know existed. But we still want to be a part of the process and help people market what they have. So a cool thing about our business is we applied to be on a TV show out of Kansas City, and it's called The Blocks. Have any of you seen MTV's The Challenge? No? I hadn't either, so don't feel bad, okay? But this guy named Weston Bergman, he's popular with the youngins. He created this incubator for entrepreneurs, and it was essentially a week-long boot camp where we came up with new ideas for our businesses, we tested market ideas, and we got to bounce off other ideas around, people who were in the entrepreneurial system from all around the country. So it was 20 people living in a little mansion for a week long with a camera in our face, and it was very intense. It teaches you a lot about your business. So from that experience, we learned that we can't do everything. We can't be everything for everyone. And I think when it comes to branding and marketing, the basic steps are figuring out what your best services are. So I have dreams and aspirations. I'd love to do all the stuff, but am I really good at all the stuff? So we have 3 service offerings. And of course, this is not all we do. If somebody comes up to us and is like, hey, we need a whole brand layout, or hey, we need a conference plan, we'll do anything. But these are what we really are good at and what we've noticed that our market is asking for. So there's logo and website design. There's social media and influencer marketing. And then SEO and data analysis. We really love data. Like, if I could throw my phone in a lake and never, have to answer a phone call again, I'd be so happy. But when I am on my phone, I'm always working. Like, I'm not just doom scrolling. I'm not spending hours on that. I'm looking at when I posted, what I posted, who liked it. Is it shareable? Is it relatable? Is this kind of funny? Is it personable? So today I'm going to go over a few things of how to make your business more fun and less scripted. And how we do that is Canva. I am very, very, not stingy. I don't like the word stingy, but if I can save money in any way possible, I'm going to. I went to school for graphic design and I spent about 40 grand. And to me, that was very ridiculous when this platform came out, because you can spend $100 a year. And it does way more than college did for me, if I'm going to be completely honest. If you haven't heard about Canva, they also have a free resource. So if you're like, I don't want to commit to $100 a year, I can just use the free resource. And so what Canva does for your business is you can upload, say, your photos or videos, and then you can compile actual marketing materials. So this whole entire slide that you're seeing, I made on Canva. And this can work from flyers to brochures, banners. I think they even offer t-shirts now. Basically any kind of design, even if you want to do a family photo book, you can do that on Canva. And they've got a million different resources. So once you get to Canva, what do? I have my business, I know what I do, I have my clients, where am I gonna go from here? So what I like to do is make a list of your services. Think back to what are we best at, but then also really focus on what do you enjoy doing? Because I don't know if you get a million emails a day about things, and sometimes you're like, oh, I have to respond back to this. Well, switch your mindset to, oh my gosh, I get to respond back to this. And a good way to do that is to really just market what you want to do. Share what you want to do, not all that you can do, but what you want to do. So when we talk about branding and we talk about marketing ourselves, if you're going to be printing materials, if you're going to be having events with people, they're going to want your logo. And for most businesses I've worked with who aren't large corporations, they really struggle on this end because, well, for one, they're not sure the file types. There are a lot of different file types, a PNG or a JPEG and this and that and that. And the great thing about Canva actually is you can export into all those file types and PDFs. And so this is called a brand guide. This is ours. It's very simple. It shows our main logo and our second logo. And the reason that we have a second logo is because, sorry, I haven't talked a lot, baby. We have a second logo for when proportions are different. Maybe they just want something simple. You don't want to have any text on it. And then we have our main logo for when, we need the whole name or something like that. Also, it gives variety. Sometimes we put a watermark on everything and we don't want text and all that. And then another fun thing that I like to include with our brand guide is a mood board. And I read this as mood board. I love cows. But when I was starting Cash Cow Co-op, our main thing was cows, cows, cows. And after working with industry experts, I'm realizing walnuts don't grow in South Dakota, duh. Soybeans are cool, but small markets are different. So it's really knowing your client in that way. And then, oh, so sorry. I also like to have my fonts. So whenever you go to print something or share your brand guide, it's really helpful to have your fonts because once you create a brand, you want it to be consistent in every way. And the great thing about Canva, again, is they have a whole font library. They do all of this for you, $100 a year. So keep that in mind. So we've gotten Canva, we understand our business services, and we want to start sharing. We want to start posting on platforms. We want to start getting the word out. A great way to do that is to make a content schedule, and Canva actually has a feature where you can do this as well. What I usually do, and I've managed a few business accounts for other social medias. Can you give me a cup of water? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm I'm a very oblivious person. You gotta be like, hey. I was singing on the way up here. I'm from Sioux Falls, so I was using my voice probably too much. But making a content schedule is so nice because you can plan your whole entire month of content. And so when you're busy running your business, you have a CSA that you're like, I need to constantly be out there. I don't have time to do anything. What I always recommend is while you're working, take 10 photos, If you want to do some video is really popular for organic reach on any social media platform right now. You can take 10-second videos here and there, or if you want to take a minute-long video and edit it on Canva, that could be 2 weeks worth of content. So it's really, really helpful. The biggest thing about making a content schedule is don't try to set your goals. Do what you can do. only you know your business, and so there's this stigma about, I need to post all day, every day. I need to show this, 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 this. And sometimes that's not going to work for businesses, you know? Sometimes your audience and your market is not online when you're posting. So figuring out that data and knowing when the best organic reach is will help you save a lot of time. And so now you're like, okay, Kristine, I've got a plan, I've got all this, and I can't post about berries for the 4th time this week. Like, people don't care anymore. The biggest thing that I've seen get organic reach is talking about your story, or talking about your failures, or saying, hey, this is my little kid. They love to ride around on the tractor with us, or especially fails, or like, say you dump a whole bag of fertilizer, not where it's supposed to go, you know, like people interact with that and they find it funny and relatable. So any way you can make your content as personable as possible, it's gonna drive people to your brand. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, do you watch their videos? Do you see the funny little, like Laura this week, her daughter was just so done with the snow, like so done with the snow. She walked out and she's like, oh my God, why? And it was the cutest thing. And a lot of people shy away from sharing, you know, your personal, not picture perfect moments, but that's what the internet wants. That's what your consumers want, that's what people want. They want to know that you're relatable and you're real. And then once you've figured out, okay, this is our story, this is what we want to share, this is our education that we have, a great way to do that, and these are all free resources that you can make on Canva. They don't pay me. They should pay me, but they don't. Ebooks are really great. You can use ebooks for just about anything. You can put them on your website, you can post them on your social media, you could share them in your newsletter. You could say, like, I have the 10 top tips for soil management. And then you could just post it in several different places. And then redirect people to your website for them to download that ebook. Not only did you get the interaction on your social media, but you also got people to go back to your website. And then you can kind of see, oh, okay, I've got this many downloads. People are interested in this topic or that topic. And they don't always have to be, you know, professional. They could be like 5 fails my kid did this week. But I love ebooks. I've downloaded probably tens and tens of ebooks that I've actually forgotten about. But once you gain enough traction in that, that could actually be a profit for your business. You could have sales for like $4 an ebook, and you could actually gain hundreds of dollars a month just by posting these ebooks. And they don't even really have to be that big of a variety. Another way that branding can be super easy is social media that we've talked about. You know, the platforms, LinkedIn is really popular. Instagram is kind of hard to market on, I'm not gonna lie. It's very picture heavy, very just kind of like, oh, I'm viewing this, I'm done. You can't exactly go from link to link on Instagram. People don't want to do that extra work, I should say. Those extra clicks kind of lose people. But again, we have newsletters. I love newsletters. As a consumer, I kind of have a different view. And I'm going to be honest about it. I feel like not everything needs to be a newsletter. I don't need a newsletter once a week from, you know, certain clothing companies or that. But when the specialty producers are sending out a newsletter, I'm like, oh, okay, funding. Great, opportunities, events, like I love that. So again, it goes back to what is your audience searching for? Are they searching for information? Do they want entertainment? Do they want to be social? Are they trying to network? That can help your brand in ways like you're not even trying to promote. And then the website is my biggest holy grail. I think everybody should have a website. I will die on this hill. I've had a few media accounts, say on like Facebook. Say you have 12,000 views, followers, likes, whatever. No, let's go followers. And then some bot reports your Facebook page. Your Facebook page could be down for a month or several months. And then if that's your main contact for business, you can't message people, you can't update them about your sales, you can't do anything, and you're kind of out of luck. If you have a website and you have all this information on your website as well, people still have a place to go. They still have a place to contact you, they still have a place to see what's new, and then they can say, hey, I see that your Facebook is down, like what's going on? I'm interested in this, when's this next meeting or whatever. But if you don't see the value in a website, I really strongly say Google Sites, you can do a website for $12 a year. And it's super easy. It's just like the Canva of websites. WordPress is a really great option too. It's just some people get a little overwhelmed with how customizable it is. So there's always these different options that you can choose. Canva also has this cool option where you can build a website on there, but I haven't launched one. I've only done it for mockups, so I'm not sure how the technical things are for that. And so when I think about marketing my business or my brand, I have dreams. I have really big dreams and really big ideas, and they change every day, and I don't always make a list or remember what I started already, and different projects come and go. But the SMART goals format has really helped me kind of like been a mental checklist before I get myself into a new project. And I think with entrepreneurship, owning a business, our personal lives, we have to really be more intentional about where we put our time, especially for our mental health, because if you have kids, woof, what personal time. So I have these SMART goals that are really helpful and beneficial, and I try to follow them. Do I follow them all the time? Do I sit there and like, oh, I got my S, I got my M? No, but the concepts of them are so simple that you can be like, oh, is this worth my time? Should I put effort towards this? So S, be specific. What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to make this ebook to gain email signups? Do you just want to share information you have? Do you want to look more professional in your brand and in your area? Do you know the audience you want to target? That's probably the biggest issue people run into is I spent $500 on this ad online. I haven't gotten any link clicks. I've gotten maybe 3 signups. I'm really disappointed with it. And you have to ask yourself, did I ask the right audience? Did I ask the right people who wanted this product or wanted to go to this event and learn this idea? And so that's kind of where the M comes in. It's more about data. How will you know when it's accomplished? How will you know when you've reached your goal of, I wanted 25 signups. I wanted to meet 5 new business friends. I wanted to create 3 different events. Like, figure out a way to track your idea to completion. Ooh, sorry. I was singing too much George Strait, for real. I was like, I'm alone. Let's go. Okay. This is probably the most important one to me is it achievable? Again, my big brain comes up with so many ideas, and I'm like, we're gonna make a website for testing or regulations, or we're gonna come up with just crazy ideas. Okay, they're crazy. I will admit that. My partner's not here to hear this, so nobody tell him. But it's like, how is your goal actually accomplished? Is it something that is realistic, or is it something that is going to take away your time, effort, and mentality? Because we can easily overwhelm ourselves with this marketing and branding if you have 7 social media platforms and you're like, I need to post 3 a day, 25 a week. I need to plan all this differently. So just make sure that you're not expecting too much out of yourself. And then, is it relevant for R? Does it seem worthwhile? Do people care about it? Is the audience that I want to talk to interested in what I'm going to share? Your organic, thank you. Your organic reach is so important because you should never pay for a social media ad. Unless you're a big organization, you've got a budget, and you've got money that you just kind of want to spend. I try my hardest not to spend money on ads. I have multiple businesses. I also run an art business where I teach classes. And when I was first getting into it, I found out Facebook ads, and I was like, these are great, I love this, and I would boost a post. And at first it worked well. I'd get like new signups for my classes, I'd meet people in my area, but then as I got more successful, Facebook was like, we want you to pay more. So we're gonna limit your reach here and here and here, even though your audience is changing. And that's the hard part about algorithms is sometimes they notice that you're kind of taking advantage or you're doing too well, and they switch it up on you. So when I say organic reach, this is just, your friends sharing, your family sharing, maybe, you share it, or commenting back to people who are like, oh, this looks like fun, just that social interaction is really helpful. And then time bound. I'm terrible with this, I'm not gonna lie. Having a child has made me more aware of my time management. There's no way around it. But what can I accomplish? When can I accomplish this goal? If I want to host an event, will I get as much traction in 1 month of planning and marketing, or should I stretch it out to 4 months? And that again depends on location, audience, what you're gonna have at your event. And then another good example is, say you've got your content, you took your photos, you've got your video, you have your descriptions down, and you want to launch your website. You've been using social media, you've been posting about it, say a week. Do you want to launch in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? When will your audience get bored of you talking about the same thing? When you launch your website, do they get a free download? Do they get the percentage off anything? Will you also hold an event when you're doing this? All that kind of stuff. So where are we at on time?
You got more time if you need it, otherwise
Okay.
you're good.
I'm going to condense it. So yeah, anytime that you are feeling overwhelmed with branding and you're like, okay, I could take these photos, I can do all this stuff on Canva, I can make my brand guides, but I don't want to. There is no harm in finding somebody who does that as a job. I'm not even saying our business, but I'm saying if you know somebody like your niece is going to school for graphic design and she wants a portfolio to build up, take her up on it. That's a lot of website designers actually need a portfolio, and they might do projects for free or very cheap. So if you're like, I just mentally cannot handle this right now, I'm not sure what I want to do, find other resources. There's also, I really like AI helpers. So ChatGPT has done a lot of content work for me. For those who don't know, it's like this automated best friend where you give them a few words or an idea or a concept, and then they just spew out all this different copy content. They can even make websites. They can code websites now, which is really cool because I'm getting into coding and I'm like, ooh, I'm not good. ChatGPT. And they also have an image creator too, and that's called DALL-E 2. And so these programs, they're very new and people are very excited about them, so they were free, and now I think they're offering like premium memberships. But like with DALL-E 2, you just type in, say, visual things, and they'll create any kind of photo, like abstract painting of a monkey in a NASA suit, and you'll get 5 different options of it. And then you can pick your favorite option, and then it'll show you like 5 more variations of that option. And then if you're like, yes, but I want this in impressionistic, or I want this abstract, and it searches the internet, and then it codes it quickly, and it just creates something new. And so for businesses, that's amazing, because there is stock imagery out there, but a lot of people can see that that's stock imagery. Again, that perfect picture, your audience doesn't really want that. They want to see you in your work area. They want to see you personable. They want to know the real you, and they want to make sure like they're talking to a person. Like, I don't know, I have a personal vendetta against FedEx now. It started today, and I had an issue. Something was supposed to be delivered last night. It didn't get delivered, and then they told me this lie that wasn't true, but it wasn't any real person telling me this. It was the computer. And so I spent 2 hours calling, trying to find a real person to yell at, because I'm not a yeller, but it got to that point. And I'm going to tell you, it took me another 12 hours to get to a person at the store, and that person is like, I don't communicate with anybody else, so I don't know how to help you, but if this comes in, I'll call you. And I'm like, why can't we just talk to people? Why can't we just have that personal response? So like another key tip, if you want to help your brand elevate, if you don't have a perfect website, perfect pictures, or your ebooks aren't done or anything, just be personable. Respond to those messages. I don't know if anybody uses Facebook Messenger, but you can actually set up a full automated response. And it does notify you, but it also it doesn't make people wait. And they can ask certain questions related to your business that you fill out. And a lot of people have had positive contact about that. I have a friend who's a baker, and she's like, this woman messaged me last night and she wants a cake. But she messaged me like 16 times because I didn't answer in 5 minutes. And so she's like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I'm gonna talk to her, but chill. And so in that instance, I'm like, well, it's very easy to automate certain questions, like, when is your reservation time? Do you have pricing? Is this even a service you offer? So just kind of thinking about the pain points of your audience and how you can answer them, in the simplest ways. Maybe you're not as introverted as me and you love talking to people, but I always try to think of ways of how can I answer this question easily for a person where I don't have to talk to them? Maybe that's just me. But it's very simple to do with technology now, but it's also important that you keep it personable so that when there is an issue, they can get a hold of a real person, because that will actually help your brand too. Word of mouth is a huge thing. It gets me farther than my paid social media ads. So does anybody have any branding questions for me?
No, it's great.
No?
Yeah, I'll go through my stuff, and then maybe if you could demo.
So posting on social media is great, but I don't like making the same post in 3 different mediums, and I haven't found a way to automatically do it to all of them in one way. That would be awesome. Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, so what platforms are you?
Mostly Instagram, Facebook, and then my website uses Wix.
I love Wix. So the great thing about do you ever use the business planner, the Meta Business Planner for Facebook?
No, not well, anyway.
Okay. It has been a huge resource, because if you schedule your post a week out or whatever, they will post not only to Instagram but also Facebook, because Facebook recently bought Instagram. So now they're technically one company, but it's not technically named the same company. And so you can put all of your information in there for your Facebook post and your Instagram post. If you want them changed a little bit, there's actually an option to do that too. And it's hard, if you do the same thing every season, you're selling the same crop, whatever, it's how do I come up with new ideas for my social media? And a thing that I found is Facebook allows you to do polls. So you can ask your followers a question, and then you can put poll options in there, and then they can answer that, and then that's data for you to use. So it's oh, okay, they don't really care about, my no-till operation. They care about when do I plant, or, kind of vice versa on that. But the website issue, that will take more time for uploading and stuff. I haven't found an automated way for that. But if you do use ChatGPT, it will generate copy for you. So you could feed it, give me the best soil practices in the South Dakota region, and it'll pop out 5 to 6 paragraphs for you. And so it searches the whole internet and comes up with this data and then compiles it for you. And is it perfect? No. Should you read it to make sure before posting? Absolutely. But it will save you time and mental effort. And then if you just want to do...
Do you want a demo? I can connect it to the screen. It's
Yeah.
easy to click. And I'm a visual person, so I'm like, as you're saying all this like Canva stuff, I'm like, it might. Do you guys? I mean, maybe I'll pull up Canva.
Yeah.
I can go fast on my part. So if you, I'll pull up Canva too, so you can kind of show off a couple things.
Actually, so I have... Do you have ChatGPT?
No.
I have it on my laptop, but my
Okay.
laptop's out there.
So maybe, yeah, when I present, maybe you can go grab it and
Yeah.
I'll swap. Okay, so here is, yep, this is ours, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
can click and if there's a weird post you make, I'll tell my husband to take it down. So,
Okay, so this is the Meta Business Suite, and the thing that I spend the most time on is the planner. It's also great for insights and reading the data about your post.
it's the Mac thinks you're clicking in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
It's okay anymore, it's just that Apple thing.
I know, and some people aren't that awesome, they can't handle it. Just kidding.
So this is what it looks like for the month of March. Say I want to go and create a post. Not only can I just create a post, but I can create a story, I can make a reel, I can even make an ad. But we don't want to do an ad. We want to do organic. I mean, ads aren't bad, but what you should definitely research is what post you've made the week prior or something that has gotten a lot of reaction on your page, and then boost that post. Because it already has a lot of organic feed, it's already interesting, it's relevant, you've already made it. So if you promote it, it's not going to be shared to the same people, but you get to choose the audience. So this is what it looks like when you want to create a post. I'm going to come down here and I have the option to, well, if you'd be able to do Instagram and Facebook at the same time. You put your text in here. You can even do a video. I've not used the Vimeo template, but look, all of this stuff is already made for you. You just input your text and your images, and it's ready to go. The thing about videos is, I like to call it the TikTok era. TikTok has really accelerated videos. People are really interested in them. They get more organic push. They get more of everybody's attention. You know, they're fun. I don't know. Maybe we're all just procrastinating. No shame in that. But then the coolest thing about this is if you really want to test what you're about to post, Facebook has an option for you to do a version A and a version B. So it'll post both of them within 30 minutes, and then it shows you the data and insights of what got better reactions. So then you can kind of gauge, like, okay, people don't like to read 4 paragraphs. Or, okay, these people like to read 4 paragraphs, and they like link to my website to download the ebook and get more information. These people just want to see funny things and bad things that happen to me on the farm. You know, there's whatever your audience is about. And then if we go down here to insights, hey, cool, good job, Laura. They have this nice graph of here's what posted well, and then they'll even show you what that post is and how many people interacted with it, what your reach was. Try not to get too caught up in like, oh, I'm down 50% this week. I've lost 1,200 views. Because it doesn't really matter. Next week, you could have something that gets 10,000 views. It's all about building up your following and being consistent with your message. And a lot of times, it's another job. It's full-time work. It's not just playing around on the internet, which some people think that I do. But yeah, it's a free resource. You can go through and even see the age and the gender of the people that are interacting with you, which is very helpful if you're about to post an ad, because it'll ask you like date range or age range, and do you want to promote to women or men? What hobbies do people have? That kind of a thing. Benchmarking. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what this is. Oh. Okay, that's cool. See, you learn something new every day. Does that kind of answer your question a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then do you have Canva on here, Laura?
On the far right tab.
Okay, if Canva existed before I went to college, I probably might not have gone to college, which I love college, but you know, it did a lot more for me than my professors. So it's a lot at first. All of these things are different templates or different ideas for you. So say you wanted to print some materials for your business. You could do a folded card, you could do envelopes, paper bags. So this is basically a way to get things sized properly without using Adobe Illustrator or InDesign. You don't need to spend $89 a month on the whole Creative Cloud package for essentially less than this. They don't come with templates, they don't come with these cool new ideas, they don't have easy picture uploads. So I really, really, really love Canva. So say we want to do just a poster for our business. We're gonna make a poster, we're gonna post it at the gas station down the street, everybody's gonna see it and go to our website and love us, and it's gonna be great. So this is nice because you can resize it right in the file. And if you're like, I don't know anything about pixels, you can go to centimeters, millimeters, anything. And then over here, they have templates underneath the design tab. So if you said food, I have a new special, or I want to make an ebook about best foods around, you can do that. And then this is a premium feature, so that's why it has like, oh, this is a watermark. So if we clicked on that one, this is all free to use. And we could change the photo, we can edit the text. All we have to do is click on it. And then if we're like, I want to add, you know, a donut, you can just click on it and add it. And then up here, they have color options. And the best thing about this is they use what's already in the document to kind of give you some color options. So Canva really makes designers out of people who might not be so tech savvy. Am I doing okay, Laura?
Yeah, kind of stay on time now, but yeah.
Okay, so any other questions? No? Okay, I'll stop my Canva sponsorship, but thank you so much.
Okay, so I also want to pass on a marketing idea that a few weeks ago we had, Holland Flower Farm came to Brookings for our flower producers. He was talking about marketing for Holland Flower Farm. And one of the really crucial things that she said is nothing leaves her farm without her brand on it. So she got her brand made, and so she said, like, you know, when they show up at a wedding, her 5-gallon buckets, they have their brand on it. So if somebody's snapping photos at the wedding, their brand is showing up. And when she sells flowers, you know, a roll, she's got her brand on it. And I'm kind of excited because then I went to our local coffee shop and I was telling him these marketing ideas. We went on Canva and I had him hire, you know, a local person who makes brands. He got a brand made. We went to Canva, he can get stickers there, so each cup is going to have his brand on it. So like, what are you selling that you could slip your brand on and make people more aware? So that way, you know, in his context, I'm like, somebody sitting at their work meeting, everybody at that meeting knows that they went to you for coffee. And what can you do that's similar? So that's one marketing thought. Another one on the social media thing. Oh, sorry. Do I want this? No. What can you do to help each other with the social media posts? So who in here has Facebook or Instagram for their business? Okay, how many of you follow everybody else in this room? Probably not. But what could you do if you share their post and you share theirs? So as you're meeting people this week, or like next day and a half, and you get their farm information, can you follow their page? And then when they say, hey, I've got just something funny, just getting the word out there. There's so many pages that I followed of producers because, you know, maybe Bearview Gardens, they, you know, will share a post about a producer that they sell. Well, all of a sudden I'm following this oatmeal company, and now this oatmeal company shares something. It doesn't cost you anything to share in other producers, and if they do the same for you, you're really expanding your reach. And so that's something I would encourage you to do to help each other.
Also, Facebook has these great communities, our event in that group, because that group may have 20,000 followers that we couldn't have reached earlier. And it's way better than promoting an ad and specifically trying to think of that audience and that demographic, because they're already compiled there. So yeah, try to join groups, maybe make your own group, and have people join and do like weekly fun tips or something along that line. That's just like simple, and it doesn't feel pushy. It doesn't feel like you're marketing. That really helps. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay, so I've been working with South Dakota specialty producers for about 2 years now, and a lot of my projects are working with some of the different outlets that you can sell with. So I just want to make you aware of resources that are out there. So aggregation, like I was saying earlier, is this term that's really broad. It refers to bringing that and producers together from multiple sources to create a larger and more consistent supply to meet consumer demand. So this might be a food hub. It might be like the aronia growers, selling all their aronia berries together so they can increase marketing. It could be producers collaborating to sell to one large, a school or an institution. Or one farmer who does the marketing for multiple farmers. A lot of producers will say, I know how to grow my product, I don't know how to market. Or that's not my skill set, that's not what I want to do. So how can you collaborate and share that? One resource to be aware of when you're selling is food safety considerations. I know this is something, the other day somebody said, I'm thinking about expanding my garden for the farmer's market. I'm intimidated by the food safety and what I need to know. So on our SPA, when I say SPA, South Dakota Specialty Producers is really long to say. So SPA, that's kind of just a shortened down version of that. So on SPA's YouTube channel, this is a presentation by Rhoda Burrows. She must be next door. And it's food safety considerations for wholesale production. It gives a good overview of GAP and FSMA certification. Both are kind of complex, but it gives a good summary to get you started. Cottage food law updates. As you're probably aware, some changes have happened. SDSU's Extension's website has a really good page summarizing it. So it explains who needs the training. It has a link to sign up. One thing to note is if you're doing this training, I've heard that if the training's having issues, try changing browsers. So if like Firefox isn't working, try Internet Explorer, that type of thing. But that's the online training that you can do if that's something you're looking into. Okay, so for aggregation resources, sorry if I'm kind of scattered and throwing a lot at you. I just want you to be aware these resources are here, then you can go and explore them as it's appropriate for you. We put together this resource guide, and you can see from our table of contents, this is the type of things that it hits on. So aggregation is something that you are interested in, whether it's finding out more what's existing, and what you and some neighbors could maybe pull together and do. That's to get you started, is that resource guide. We also have podcasts on aggregation. Earlier I mentioned the aronia growers. Jeff Stewart did a podcast with me on how they set up and got that started. We also talked with Iowa about their food hub, and that one's interesting because they do a lot with farm to school. The Good Acre Food Hub is out of Minneapolis, and then we had Dakota Fresh. So if you are interested in working with Dakota Fresh but want to kind of have a better understanding of what you might be getting into, she's got a podcast with me as well. So if you go to the SPA website, search podcast, that's kind of it. You can find it. We've got the podcast listed on our YouTube channel and on where you find Spotify, those different things for podcasts. Okay, another thing to know, who's heard of the Local Food Purchase Assistance Program? This is the one with Feeding South Dakota. Okay, if not, you might want to, and even if you have, think about this webinar next Tuesday, March 28th at 9 o'clock. If you don't have the link, email me. My email is the sdspecialtyproducers@gmail.com, and I can get you the link for that. So basically, people are always like, I wish that the government gave us money so that way people were buying local produce. That's exactly what's happened. DANR got federal funds so that they can help Feeding South Dakota buy produce from South Dakota growers. And this refers to grains, milk, dairy, eggs, fruit, vegetables, anything that you grow, you can sell to them. So if you're interested, you would call Feeding South Dakota and say, hey, I'm going to have some, or even better yet, I'm thinking about growing extra carrots. Would you be able to buy extra carrots this summer if I bought them? What price could you give me? They have to be somewhat fiscally responsible with the funds, but they recognize that you guys are going to need more than Walmart is going to need for their carrots to help cover your costs. So this is a really great opportunity. Does anyone have anything to add on this program?
Yeah, I mean, there's like one procurement guy, so it's not like super efficient yet.
And that was something Peggy mentioned this morning at the meeting. She said, the easier you can make it for them, the easier that they can help you. So if you can come to them with all the information and an idea of how you can make it, especially if you can make it to one of their drops in like Rapid or Pierre or Sioux Falls, and provide them with information of fairly exactly what you're going to have, they can make it easier to work with you. But they want to get these funds spent. They've got kind of a limited window to do it, so if you have extra produce, I really encourage you to reach out. So this year, SPA has done some regional meetings. We went to Watertown, Chamberlain, Yankton, and Rapid City to get producers together and talking about things. During those meetings, we talked about some current aggregation opportunities. Once again, our YouTube channel has links to these recordings. The second one's got a little redundant, so we just recorded the first two. But Dakota Fresh Food Hub, Natural Abundance, Coteau Community Market, and that LFPA program is in that Watertown recording. And then if you're more interested in more of the national Aronia growers, that's in the Chamberlain meeting. Another one I guess we don't have recorded that is interesting though, Black Hills Farmers Market is doing a wholesale program where with their farmers market vendors, they're also setting up like a wholesale aspect so they can gather the extra, the farmers market can be a meeting spot for them to aggregate and then work with like schools and other institutions. Okay. Farm to school is another opportunity. I know it seems intimidating, the idea of selling to schools, but you can start small. A lot of times elementary schools have like an afternoon snack program where they give fruits and vegetables to kids in the afternoon. So maybe you're going to say, can I provide cherry tomatoes twice in a month for your program? Start small and work your way up. You don't need to be GAP certified in most situations to go to the school unless the school requires it. I don't know of any in South Dakota that do. The school is probably going to want to know what farm safety considerations have you had, and you're going to want to be able to talk to them about what you're doing to provide a safe product, but there isn't as tight of regulations as you'd think. There is a farm to school network. It's part of a work group of the Local Food Coalition. If it's something you'd want to be involved with, actually it's Anna Tweet now, but Anna Barr gets forwarded. So if you want to email her, then you can get that information. We also did a procurement overview. So my subcommittee of the network, because we love our subcommittees and work groups, I guess, we have the procurement group. And we put together this webinar talking about what are the basic things that maybe a producer or a school or really anybody getting involved with farm to school should have a basic understanding of so they can have a conversation on this. That's also on our YouTube channel, so Procurement Overview, South Dakota Farm to School Network. And that provides an overview of the process that schools go through. On our website, if you search Farm to School, these are some of the other resources we have. We have a Farm to School program list, so you can click that link and say, I'm in Aberdeen, is my school doing Farm to School? Every year the school nutrition people get emailed a survey that they're asked to fill out that looks at, are you doing Farm to School? What level? Or do you have an interest in Farm to School? So at least you can look at that survey and say, hey, this school is, kind of interested in doing Farm to School. Maybe they're doing it at some level, but at least they'd be welcome to you coming in and talking with them about it. There's also a Farm to School resource guide from SDSU Extension. Here's a table of contents from that. You can find the link on our page. And then we have this procurement resource list. So that has some of the extra helpful South Dakota specific resources on it. Then of course farmers markets. Does anybody here sell at a farmers market? Okay, so we have monthly meetings. SPA has a special chapter that's the South Dakota Farmers Market Coalition. And if people choose when they join SPA, they can also pay a little extra and they then are part of this chapter, and then they use those funds to pool resources and whatnot. But, so we do have those monthly meetings for farmers markets. We also have a few resources available that if you're looking to get started, you can find the SDSU Extension Farmers Market Resource Manual, and then SPA has one. Those are fairly complementary. There's a little bit of overlap, but they go in a little bit different directions. And I guess, okay, that's all I got. Anything to add? Or anything you were hoping to learn from Kristine or I that we didn't hit on? Or is there anything that you want her to visually demo on the screen for you that she talked about? No?
Aren't our SPA contractors awesome?
Yeah, it's on every question, I'm sure. But thank you very much. I hope you guys got something out of this that you can take home and use.